Hello, this is
Hi.
Agnew from Blackthorpe Barn, and we are doing StudioTalk today, which is a series of chats with makers who come to Blackthorpe Barn, and particularly this year where we can't actually have our real event. It would have been our 29th year, believe it or not. And so actually today we've got Marianne Laker from Marianne Laker Designs in her work, sitting in her workroom here. And I was going to say with me, obviously with me remotely, and we're going to chat about her work. So hi there, Marianne, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, very well.
We were trying to work out how many years you've been coming to the barn. How
So
many
I think it's, well, it's getting on for 20, certainly nearly 20 years, maybe 19. Yeah.
Right,
well, a long time.
That's quite a while, and your work really has developed hugely over that time. It's fascinating to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I first started coming, I was only making the children's clothes, just the children's fleeces and maybe a few dresses. And then it's just sort of taken off, really. Yeah. So now, you know, with ladies' coats and all my little fleecy elephants and things as well.
Right. Right. Well, the first thing I'd like to do is to sort of set you in context for everybody who perhaps don't know you that well. And could you tell us sort of how you got started in the world of textiles? What got you going?
Well, my mum taught me. She started teaching me when I was 7. My sister was 8 and I was 7. And she taught us to make a dress. It was a little sundress. And the idea was that we would make something that we could wear and that we'd be really proud of when we're wearing. And we made something every year. We would make one garment. She must have had the patience of a saint. I mean, I don't know how she did it, quite honestly, because I tried to do it with my children and I really wasn't particularly successful. But anyway, she did this, and we made these garments and we wore them. She taught us, during that time, she taught us lots of different skills, like putting in zips and turning up hems and doing fitting and buttonholes, you know, everything that you need to make a garment. And then I do remember that at the age of 12, I made a winter coat out of a beautiful bit of Scottish tweed that we bought in Scotland. And after that, really, there was no stopping me. I just was really hooked on it. I just became a compulsive sewer. I wanted to make things. So, yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. So what inspires you these days? What really gets you going?
Fabric, definitely fabric. So I look for different fabric everywhere I go. So I quite often come home from holiday with length of fabric in my suitcase. I just love going into fabric shops and looking at all the different colours and the different textures, and I just want to buy it all. Actually, I have to be quite restrained, yeah, particularly when broad and you can't fit it in your suitcase coming back. I did come back from China with bits of silk actually in my coat pockets because I didn't have any room in my suitcase. So yeah, I just love fabric. So that's one thing. And then the other thing really is the colours. So I like I like putting colours together, and so I like to get different fabrics and put different fabrics together and just sort of match up colours and tones. And I like to do that with you know, with all sorts of things. So that's really what got me started on doing some weaving. Was just what I wanted to make my own fabric, really. That's somebody sold me a weaving loom, and I just started trying it out, really, and just loved the creative process of putting the colours together.
Well, I have to say, colour is one of the things which really leaps out to me looking at your work. There's a real sense of tones and textures, which tones of colour and textures which come across. And obviously working in textile, you have all that opportunity because there are all these extraordinary tightly woven things, loosely woven things, incredibly sort of loose textures and things, and in a way which must be so inviting. It must be very inspiring to do.
Yeah, yes, I really loved doing it, and I really love the creative bit. It was very, very nice during lockdown, actually, because I was able, I was obviously teaching a bit, but I still had much more time than I normally have, and I was able to do all sorts of things that I wouldn't normally. I call it playing, really. You know, it's not just making lots of garments to sell, but actually playing and being a bit more creative. And you know, I also got my knitting machine out as well and did a lot of knitting. And again, another thing where you're putting colours together all the time. So enjoyed that as well.
Have you got something really special that you'd like to show us today?
Well, I've got a couple of things. So this is a piece of weaving that I did during lockdown. So I don't know if you can see it very well, but unfortunately the colours probably don't come out so well on the screen. But this was great fun. I love putting the yeah, and it's very soft as well. It's a really lovely yarn. It was quite difficult to get yarn during lockdown, but I managed to get some, and so I put that together.
What is that made of?
Well, it's wool and silk, and a little bit of mohair as well, and that one is on the Blackthorpe Barn website.
Well, that's absolutely gorgeous. That's a really
along with it's got pictures of it actually being made out in the garden, because it was really hot, so I took my weaving loom out in the garden and did it out there. It was really nice.
That sounds fantastic.
So I've also got some of the knitting on my knitting machine. So these also on the website, with quite a few different scarves like this, with either with a nice Fair Isle border, or some which have got Fair Isle all the way down like that. Again, lots of lovely colours put together as well.
Absolutely beautiful.
So, and then I've got one more thing. So this is another thing that I've done much more recently, and that is my own fabric design from my own paintings. So this one is based on the gardens on Tresco on the Isles of Scilly, and I love to do watercolour painting when I'm on holiday. I'm not particularly good at it, but what I do like to do then is to put it on the computer and then use my watercolour paintings to make a design, and then get it printed on fabric, which is and then I can do all sorts of things with the fabric that I get made up. And see, I've got a scarf on at the moment, which is made.
Oh, that's lovely. Leaves. That's beautiful. Yeah. Absolutely. So what are you working on at the moment?
Well, I've had a bit of a rest, actually. I have to say, I've had a bit of a rest, because I haven't had any fairs to do things for. But I just started again. I'm on my knitting machine at the moment, and I'm thinking in terms of Christmas presents. So I'm doing some more Fair Isle designs. So I've done it on a computer. This is my Fair Isle design, which then it goes on a punch card on the knitting machine. It's a very old-fashioned knitting machine. It goes on a punch card, and yeah, I've just started it. So, but I can't talk really about it because somebody might see this who might get a present.
Yes, you better not wave it around too much.
No.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question because I'm so terribly ignorant. What is boiled wool? I mean, it's wool boiled, I suppose, but I mean, tell me what
it is literally that. So the boiled wool that I use in my coats, it's been knitted on a machine, probably, well, obviously on a machine, and then it is literally boiled, and what happens is everything shrinks, but it doesn't all sort of shrink quite at the same amount, and so you get a slightly bobbly texture on it. So it is literally boiled and it shrinks, and that makes it much stronger and much warmer. It's virtually indestructible.
I should imagine so. Actually, it sounds like a good technique, but But you
I
cut
don't
it up.
actually do that myself. I don't. I do buy the wool. I buy the boiled wool already done, but then I add my own little bits of weaving to it. So, yeah. Right,
that's really interesting. You haven't shown us a lot about your coats and jackets and things like that. Could you? I mean, I don't know whether you've got anything. You're going to have to go off and fetch one now, aren't you?
No, well, I've got one here. I have got one. The trouble is they're a bit big to show on the.
Well, that's lovely.
They're a bit big to show on the screen. So this one is one that I made for me about 2 years ago, and this is so it's my own design, and it's all my own weaving as well. And there are 2 of these for sale on the website as well. There's 2 in different colours, but yeah, it's very difficult to show it really on a small screen.
I think you can see it really well, and comments about texture and the comments about colour I think apply so much to a coat like that. I think it's really lovely. It's got lots of different bits of texture all sort of woven into the sleeves. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, there we are. Right. Well, thank you so much for showing us around your workroom and some bits and pieces of your work. It's been really nice to talk to you. And what I'd just like to do when I wind up these little talks is to tell people how to find your work on our website. So what you have to do is to go to shop.blackthorpebarn.com, and then you go to either menu or category. This depends whether you're on a computer or on an iPhone or something like that. And then you look for handmade crafts, and this will take you straight to where you can find Marianne's work and the work of all the other people we've got on our site. So thanks, Marianne, for coming today. And it's been fun chatting to you, and do stay safe and keep creative. All right then. Okay, I will do, yes. And you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.